What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K back again with another video where we're going to be talking about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This is going to be another quick dose video because I got a crazy schedule before the end of the year. I don't know what's going on. I'm on my way to work. And what I did is I also am recording a video also related to this where I talk about those personally responsible for maybe some of the more unsavory looks at this story in regards to Indiana Jones. But right now we're just going to look at this from a 5,000 feet view and talk about and essentially ask the question, is Indiana Jones a success? You know what I mean? But before we get into all that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, rock those bells for notifications, please. All right. And consider becoming a member because that video where I go more in depth, it's a nice, juicy, longer video. It's about an hour long. You will enjoy that. Okay. All right. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has had an up and down roller coaster ride in regards to the perception that it has fostered. A lot of people are questioning because they're concerned. And when I say people, I'm not talking about the fanboys. I talk to a lot of gamers that don't have the same taste that I have. If you haven't been following my content, for full transparency, I am not the hugest Xbox fan, even though I regularly indulge in PC Game Pass. I really think PC Game Pass is a cool subscription service. When I want to try games that are interesting, like a Stalker or whatever, or Hellblade 2 or whatever, just try them. I don't have to fully commit to those games. I can just try them. At times I can find keys for as low as like $8 a month. You know what I'm saying? So I can try those games, see what I think about them. And then if I don't like them, go about my business without having too much of a dent in my pocket. And the way that Game Pass is structured, you know, just let my service lapse until a game that interests me comes aboard. So that's what I did with Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, tried it. Outside of the production and the cinematography and just the whole take of Indiana Jones movies and things like that, I really thought that was phenomenal. And I think that's an 11 out of 10. I think they need to take those portions, cut them out, and take that same staff that's responsible for this and work on a new IP. Because the way that they took the feel of Indiana Jones, I think it was phenomenal. Then we get to the gameplay, which really doesn't do all the great cinematography and presence in the direction and all this stuff. Doesn't do a favor at all. It's abysmal. It's mundane. It's remedial. You know, I can go on and on about it. You know what I mean? So all the great and good that the appearance, the appeal, the cinematography, everything, like I said, all that is you know, circumvented by the gameplay. All right. But that's my opinion. There are a lot of people though that love this game, right? A lot of reviewers and journos and things like that have a lot. And there's a lot of even people that normally just downplay Xbox, everything Xbox, that really like this game, right? That I see on social media, that is. Let me be specific. Because there are indications that this game is not doing well with the masses. And the first set of indications here, let's see if we can do this. The first set of indications were, let's look at the player numbers. Okay, so the game of this recording, the game launched 20 days ago, and it peaked, you know, within that first week at 12,000. 5,392 people are in the game as we speak right now. And so I get it. A lot of people may look at that and they may say, well, MM2K, there's a lot of people that are playing this on Game Pass. And here's the thing. I get that. But if you want a great gauge of how games are doing on PC, you got to go to Steam. I know there's a lot of activity on PC Game Pass. I know a lot of people are doing what I did. Here's the problem of doing what I did. Instead of me paying $70 to try this game and committing to $70, right? And then maybe just deciding from there, hey, I may or may not like this game, you know, and giving that $70, getting that $70 back from Steam as long as within 2 hours. Instead of me doing that, I just finessed it for like $6. So I paid like $6, a trip to the arcade, right? Not even a trip to the arcade today. Again, you know, I put in $6, gave it a shot, and then I stepped away from it. Where again, back in the day, I would have had to commit $70. That's a lot of spillage. And you get a lot of people that maybe they do like the game. Maybe they do like the game, and now they don't have to worry about, hey, you know, do I really want to commit $70 to this? I could just get it at Game Pass for $6. And the reason why I keep saying $6 is because you can find plenty of keys, PC Game Pass keys for like $6. I know Game Pass USD is supposed to be $12, but you can find keys for $6, right? There's a lot of people that do that, and then they say, well, you know, I got 30 days with this game, so I'll play it. $6, $6 to $12, and I'm gone, right? And not necessarily CD keys. Well, yeah, I can get Game Pass, PC Game Pass keys, not on the CD keys website, but just in general, you can find them as low as $6. So I do that, and then they're out $70. And here I would have played the game a full month. So this number signifies a lot. And the only thing that can counteract this number is if there were a lot of Game Pass subscriptions because of this game, and they're sustained. We've talked about this with Call of Duty, because it's all about money at the end of the day. People want to throw smoke and mirrors, monthly active users, all of that means nothing if money doesn't come out of it. So if you would have gotten more money by just selling this a la carte versus putting it in a subscription service, then that's spillage. It's a gap. And you're losing money. You're losing potential money. And as a business, you never want to leave money on the table. Especially if it's a difference between $6 to $12 versus $70. So in my members video, I also talk about too how we looked at what it's doing on Xbox Game Pass, right? It's number 2 on Xbox Game Pass. I think we can try looking at PC Game Pass. Let's go try looking at PC Game Pass. Let's see here. I want to go to subscriptions, right? Yeah, let's go to subscriptions, PC Game Pass, and it's top 5 PC Game Pass. So it's getting a fair amount of activity on PC, on Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass, it has a better margin on Xbox Game Pass than it does PC Game Pass. And to me, that is an issue. Like, your biggest potential market for this thing is on PC, because what do we know, y'all? Consoles are not selling over on the Xbox side. And we already know, because Phil told us, this is not stuff coming from me, this is stuff that Phil has said, that Game Pass subscriptions on the console have hit a wall. That's why they had the audacity to make day and date, exclusivity. They added it to the $20 tier, where for $12, you can get it day and date on PC. That's why they had the gall and the gumption to do that. So seeing it number 2 on Xbox Game Pass is okay. You would expect to see the same thing or better on PC Game Pass, because like Phil Spencer told you, that's where the potential growth is for Game Pass. So on PCs, they flatline on console. So when you look at what's going on console, you're simply just seeing people that will remain in Game Pass, just play Indiana Jones. What you need to see here is on PC, you need to see this game, and at least in its launch month, be number 2. I would understand why it's number 2 behind Black Ops 6. I get that. Be number 2, right? And then see decent sales to subsidize the fact that people are playing it on Game Pass. You would need to see a culmination. Or okay sales, which trust me, this is not okay sales on Steam. Okay sales on Steam, because we're talking about it's estimated that 229,000. I go by Play Tracker because they've been laser focused on guesstimating sales correctly. They did so more recently with Stalker too, right? So you would like to see like 1 million here on Steam, right? And then you would see, okay, top 5 activity on PC Game Pass. And you would like to see a bunch of new people, numbers coming on. Like, we're sustaining these subscribers. So without that, and with Microsoft kind of being mum on its activity, like, Microsoft that first week or so, they like to come out and say, oh yeah, so-and-so had 1 million players, right? Like even Astrobot, that's just on one console, came out and said, hey, we sold 1 million copies. So, Indiana Jones come out and say they had 1 million players, right? Right? Okay. We haven't heard anything yet, and that's not saying we won't hear. They could turn around. They could be waiting for it to hit 3 million and tell us to just 3 million. But there's nothing coming from Xbox right now. So we were in the thought process that, hey, maybe this didn't do well. Then we got this. This is a peculiar thing from Matt Piscatella of Sakana over there on Blue Sky. He says, anyways, don't usually post stuff about weekly rankings, but Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was the number 2 best-selling video game for week ending December 14th in US dollar sales, trailing on Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Astrobot went from number 11 prior to week 7 the same week as the TGAs. So a lot of people see this and they're like, oh, because I've seen it on podcasts, I've seen it in different places. A lot of people saw this and said, oh, hold on. This means that it must have done well. I don't know about that. Because here's the thing that's peculiar about how Matt is wording this. Number one, the peculiar thing is he says he doesn't normally do this, which is true, but saying that Call of Duty is number 2, that Indiana Jones in its launch week is only only second to Call of Duty. That's trying to make it seem like that it's not normal for a game to outperform Call of Duty in its launch week a month and a half after Call of Duty is released. That's not true. Like it's only second to Call of Duty. Here's the trends that I've noticed. Yeah, that first week particularly, but that first month of Call of Duty, the numbers are ridiculous, right? And then after the first month, it starts to, it's not flat, but it subdues, to a reasonably respectable number consistently. That's the secret to Call of Duty sauce, is that it stays, when you hear numbers thrown out, it's, a number that is a very respectable number amongst contemporary games that have also released. But when we talk about a new game coming out, especially a heavily broadcasted and heavily advertised game over a recognizable IP, not being coming second to Call of Duty a month and a half after its launch is not, and during your launch week, that is, we're talking about the launch week. It's not so bad if you get outperformed by Call of Duty in its second month in entirety. But at least for that launch week, the expectation is, okay, we'll beat Call of Duty just that 1 week, and then Call of Duty may, it's going to keep that respectable number where we'll subside a little bit. So this is making it sound like that this is something extraordinary, the way that it's phrased, trailing only Call of Duty Black Ops. No, it's not. It's not extraordinary. It's not extraordinary for the simple fact, too, that in all likelihood, all these sales that are keeping Black Ops 6 number one on PlayStation. 86% of the sales during the launch period were on PlayStation, or 80+% were on PlayStation. So that's not phenomenal. Because then that would be indicative of, hey, maybe if Indiana Jones was on PlayStation day and date, it would have done better. Who knows? I mean, it is coming to PlayStation anyway. Right? So, there's nothing extraordinary about that. I don't even know why this is here. The thing that makes it even more peculiar is Astrobot went from 11th to 7th. There's nothing extraordinary about that. There's nothing noteworthy about either of these things. And I feel like this second part was put in to try to justify this is just an unusual post. No, I feel like this first part was put in here to try to over glorify Indiana Jones' performance. But who knows? And I like Matt. This is just weird to me. And he got backlash on it, and he's responding. He went phooey to the backlash or whatever. I just find it was peculiar. However, something else happened too. So Jez Gordon of Windows Central had came out and said that what did he say? He said that what's the name was doing well. That Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was doing so well that he had heard that someone picked up the phone and called and said, we want more. And so in backlash of that, there's this guy named Sneeko, or this individual named Sneakers, SO on Reset Era, that's supposed to, have predicted a lot of right things before, who said, no, it's they've heard this didn't do well. And in addition, more notably, they say in terms of revenue generated, the game is not doing well in the slightest from what I've heard. Also, Disney never picks up the phone and does something like this. In fact, just as a general rule of thumb, if you ever hear anyone ascribe a personality to Megacorp, you can likely toss whatever they're saying in the garbage can. And I'll just leave that to Sneakers. From experience working with Disney on a licensed property, these days is really not all that complicated. As long as the pitch is good and you're willing to work within the creative outlines they want you to agree to. The only thing that folks at Disney actually want is for you to pay the licensing costs. So in this situation, the scenario I could believe is that Booty called up third-party managers at Disney and asked to start hatching out terms for a new potential indie game. So in Sneakers, also predicted some things about Bethesda, right? And I agree with Sneakers. So this is it's more hoopla than anything, and I totally ascribe to this second paragraph. Be careful, be wary of the individuals that you associate yourself to and understand their agendas. What do I think about? Yeah, I'm still in the camp, and I could be wrong. I'm still in the camp of looking at the Indiana Jones Steam numbers with the PC Game Pass placement, cross-balancing that with what we know about Xbox Game Pass hitting a wall. And then I'm also going to sprinkle in some stuff that I've heard behind the scenes. I don't think this is sold well. I also believe that us not hearing anything is indicative of that. But we could all be wrong about that if Xbox comes out, and they may not do this until the beginning of the year. They may come out and say Indiana Jones has had 3 million players. If they have had 3 million players, it doesn't necessarily equate full-on success, because we're looking at sales on PC. Estimates there are 220,000. So the majority of the 3 million would be Game Pass subscribers. And the fact that there's 30 plus million Game Pass subscribers, 3 million of them willing to just boot up Indiana Jones. Like, the question would be, you gotta counterbalance. That's why I said, be very careful of these numbers that you fall for. In order for a game at Xbox to be a success, one or two things have to happen. Either one, like any other game, it has to sell a whole bunch. Two, it has to bring new Game Pass people to the foray and maintain those new people for at least 4 months. Or C, a little combination of both. We're going to eliminate C because I don't see good sales numbers indicative anywhere. So let's eliminate A and C. I think time will tell if B is the case. If it caused a lot of new Game Pass subscribers, and those Game Pass subscribers stay on for 4 months, because again, it's all about making money, then you have a hit on your hands. I'm not, from all avenues that I turn and I look at, I'm not seeing that. But again, Microsoft can come out in 2025 and say, oh, we've had 3 million players, which would be a step. I wouldn't say step in the right direction. It would keep the possibility alive that this game is doing something positive for Xbox. We'll see. With that being said, regardless of how well it sells, I just think it would be great to see this game, the people behind this game, do one or two things. Because I think that if this game isn't doing well, I think it's because of one main reason. The gameplay wasn't sufficient enough to back up the IP notoriety. Like, you got to remember, a lot of gamers right now are like, Indiana who? And yeah, you have a great story that, you could have a potentially great character. And I'm not saying it has to be Uncharted, has to be what's it called, but the gameplay has to be more intricate than this. This isn't doing it. Right? Secondly, I would hope that they take this team behind this game and get them working on a new IP, because they've done so much stuff story-wise and set-piece-wise and everything that is phenomenal. And we already know Machine Games, they can do great gameplay. Just give them what they need. Let's not try to run some gimmicky Indiana Jones game that, that's Game Pass, that's typical Game Pass gameplay quality, and try to sell it for $70. No, let's really get a banger of a AAA experience out there, and the team behind this game shown that they got a lot behind them that could do that. We just need them to get back to the old Machine Games way of creating stellar gameplay, and Xbox will have a banger on its hands. Those are my thoughts. But again, who cares what I think? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Like I always say, who cares what I think? But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. They will lead you to Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, and here, MM2K Gaming News. With that said, you all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.